Welcome to the Pakistani High Commission interview session with the new Ethiopian Imperial. My name is Maureen Okun. In this episode, we bring you the latest insight from international threats. As Asia, home to nearly half of the world population, is a pivotal region where military conflict and other events, be they political, economic, or environmental, have profound global implications, rippling across continents and markets. The war recently witnessed another intense Indian-Pakistan standoff marked by airstrike, cross-border skirmishes, and sharp diplomatic rhetoric, rising fears of instability in the subcontinent, with us to highlight different aspects to the recent conflict is His Excellency Mr. Sohail Ahmed Khan, High Commissioner of the Republic of Pakistan in Nigeria, a diplomat with distinguished expertise in the study of armed conflict, international relations, regional and global dynamics. Welcome, Mr. High Commissioner.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning.
So we're starting with the 22nd April of this year, terrorist attack that attacked a location near Pelgam in Jammu and Kashmir, killing 26 civilians and injured over 20 persons. India accused Pakistan of supporting the attack, an accusation that was denied by Pakistani government. What is your take on this, and what can you say in this regard?
In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. Maureen, I am extremely grateful to you and your agency for inviting me to express an opinion on a very important subject, Kashmir. Kashmir at this moment is an issue in the world. It has become the biggest nuclear flashpoint at the moment. And talking on this subject is extremely important. I am grateful to you for inviting me. Maureen, before I answer your question about this Pelgam incident, I would like to put things in proper perspective for the benefit of your audience. Basically, I would just like to give you the background of Kashmir and Kashmir issue. One, Kashmir is the two portions. One is the Azad Kashmir, which is administered by Pakistan. And then there is this Indian illegally occupied Kashmir, which is bulk of Kashmir. 1947, August, British leave subcontinent, two nation states are created, India and Pakistan. Bone of contention, the region of Kashmir. Since then, there has been struggle, indigenous struggle by the Kashmiri people for their right of self-determination. The matter was taken to United Nations in early 50s by the then Prime Minister of India, Mr. Jawaharlal Nehru. And United Nations has passed a number of resolutions recommending that a plebiscite be carried out under the auspices of the United Nations to give the people of Indian illegally occupied Kashmir the right of self-determination. So this is the situation. Kashmiris have given a lot of sacrifices. Thousands and thousands have been killed. Thousands of women have been murdered. And there are so many people, thousands of them, they have been rotting in the jails for a very, very long time. Pakistan has always extended political, diplomatic, and moral support to the people of Kashmir. There are over 800,000 Indian troops which are deployed in a region which houses little over 10 million people. So there is actually one person of coercive forces against 10 people. And if you take out the old people, the children, the women, then probably this ratio comes to 1 versus 1 adult. So that is the kind of situation we are in as far as Kashmir is concerned. Coming over to Pelgam incident. Incident takes place on 22nd of April. Huge frenzy, war hysteria gets created in Indian media. And what happens is that Pakistan is one of those countries which immediately condemned this heinous crime. Pakistan is absolutely against any kind of terrorism which takes place anywhere in the world. So we condemn it. India alleges Pakistan for having carried out this kind of heinous crime or sponsored this kind of crime, which was impossible. Pelgam is a Muslim dominated area. Pakistan has been supporting the Muslims which are living in Indian illegally occupied Kashmir for the last 77 years. The tourists were killed. The tourism, the only livelihood of people of Pelgam, gets affected. Why would Pakistan do that? It is not thinkable. And then, hypothetically speaking, if the terrorists come from Pakistan, they pass through the line of control, which is all fenced. Every inch of line of control is covered by fire. And then there are 800,000 troops located in Indian illegally occupied Kashmir. And these terrorists, they move all the way passing this fence and dodging out the troops deployed on the line of control, go deep in occupied Kashmir and carry out this operation and suddenly vanish in thin air. It is not thinkable. It is not acceptable. It is not comprehensible. So I would stop at that as far as Pahalgam is concerned. As far as Pakistan is concerned, Pakistan has given a lot of sacrifices to fight against terrorism. We have been involved in global war on terrorism for decades. We have lost more than 80,000 people, both civilians and military. Billions of dollars of losses Pakistan has suffered in our fight against global war on terrorism. So, how can we support terrorism? Pakistan is at the moment the only bulwark for the world, a wall between terrorists and rest of the world. This is the kind of sacrifices which Pakistan has given, which Pakistani people have given to fight against terrorism. Pakistan right away has asked for international investigation and has also offered that we are going to facilitate if there is any forum which is deputed to carry out investigation into this particular incident. Now, once I was talking about Pakistan's sacrifices in this global war on terrorism, very recently in March, Jafar Express, one of the train in one of the provinces, Balochistan of Pakistan, was hijacked by the terrorists. And it was by sheer professionalism of our armed forces and our other law enforcement agencies that we managed to rescue these over 450 hostages, eliminating actually 33 of the terrorists. Just 2 days back, there are 4 innocent girls in one of the school in Balochistan. They died because of a suicide bomber attack. Pakistan has given too many sacrifices. We cannot be branded as terrorists by any country in the world because we have played the most important role. We have always been the frontline state as far as global war on terrorism is concerned. And I expect the world to realize this role of Pakistan. I hope it answers your question.
Okay, sir. Yeah, you just answered the question very clear. The High Commissioner just gave a strong stand on Pakistan should not be branded as a terrorist country because they give a lot of sacrifice to project peace in the world. So, sir, following this recent conflict, India suspended the Indus Water Treaty, which was called an act of war by Pakistan. Similarly, India also downgraded diplomatic relations with Pakistan. What legal or diplomatic action is Pakistan pursuing to challenge these unilateral moves?
Okay, Maureen, this is an interesting question. It was something, an action, a reaction of India, which was both undesired and unwanted. And as they say that an empty sack cannot remain upright. So I would say that this is an international agreement. It's an international treaty. It is sacrosanct. It cannot be suspended unilaterally by India. Secondly, no responsible nation would weaponize water, a basic ingredient for life. And in the last few years, there have been threats coming from across the border that we will make sure that Pakistan begs for every drop of water, threatening to starve a population of over 250 million people is absolutely not acceptable. And I must tell you, if the very survival of Pakistani nation is at stake, so Pakistan would be ready to go any distance. The world must understand this thing. And India should also basically consider her own credibility in terms of India abiding by the international agreements and international treaties. That is the way how I look at it. And I'm sure that if the sense prevails, uh, India will not go for this option of weaponizing the water. I'm very sure of that.
Mr. High Commissioner, on May 7th, India claimed Operation Sindhu, allegedly targeting military infrastructure, while Pakistan reported 31 civilian deaths. What is Pakistan's start of this claim, and what evidence is it presented to the international community to support its claim of civilian casualties, and how did it address India's allegation of targeting Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba?
All right, Maureen. First of all, I must emphasize that Pakistan's official stance is always based on reality. India carried out this act of aggression against all international norms. They attacked 9 locations, out of which 4 locations were inside mainland Pakistan. Others were in the disputed area of Azad Kashmir, which is the Pakistani administered Kashmir. And they claimed that 100 hardcore terrorists have been killed, whereas they only attacked mosques, the religious places, the seminaries attached to those mosques, and houses in the heart of towns and cities. And the terrorists they're talking of, over 35 civilians were killed, including 8 women and 11 children. Are those included in those 100 terrorists? Can they give any evidence of killing those 100 terrorists? Pakistani government, our people took the international journalists to every site, and they were shown each and every place. The funerals taking place of these 35 innocent civilians. I hope all this answers your question of so-called Indian missile attack on terrorist hideouts and camps. There weren't any terrorist hideouts or camps. Pakistan, I've already told you in my earlier answer that we are absolutely against any kind of terrorism taking place in any part of the world.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. High Commissioner, on May 9th, India claimed targeting Pakistani military bases, thereby escalating the conflict. How did Pakistan assess the damages to its military infrastructure? How will it deter further attacks without endangering peace? And secondly, Pakistan conducted Operation Dunya and Masu on 10th May, which was Pakistan militarily strike on Indian military bases? What were the operational objectives?
All right, Maureen, it's a very interesting question. As far as Pakistan's existing situation is concerned, it again reminds me of a proverb. Interestingly, it's an African proverb that a rock in the middle of the sea is not afraid of water. Now, Pakistan was attacked on the first night with 9 missiles, and India claiming to target the terrorist camps and terrorist hideouts. Pakistan immediately responded and shot down 6 aircrafts, including state of the art Rafale aircrafts. Now, that was on the first night. They again sent swarm of drones in civilian areas of Pakistan, towns and cities, and they were around 77 drones. They were all shot down. Now, that's an interesting fact. Again, they retaliated and attacked a number of bases on the 9th, 10th of May. Again, limited damage to the infrastructure, not much of casualties, and no major critical equipment damage actually happened. In response to that, we went for their 26 hardcore military targets and incurred a lot of losses. Now, this is an era where you are actually living in 21st century. There's a lot of technology available. In fact, things have become so transparent and so open that it's not like a child who damages his toy and hides it under the bed. If you are attacking a place and you are attacking a place on ground, an infrastructure or a runway or an airbase, it is completely visible. There are satellite pictures. There are live coverage of those events. There are if you are attacking an aircraft in the air, and it has got distinct digital signature, which is actually recorded. So all those things, they come out to be as evidence of Pakistan's achievements as far as the damages which were incurred to Indian aircrafts and infrastructure is concerned. And so is the case with Pakistani air bases and infrastructure. Definitely.
Maureen, that's something very interesting. In this type of conflict, it is very difficult to define the notion of victory. That who came out to be victorious. Media is very effective in these days. So, while being so effective, being so powerful, you have to take on a lot of responsibility also, which unfortunately did not happen. And there was a lot of misinformation, there was a lot of propaganda, and it was very difficult to actually define which side came out to be victorious in this whole scenario. And it's very difficult to define under such circumstances where everything is so short and it's so fluid that you really cannot determine that how it ended. But I'll just give you an idea about this whole thing. India is a gigantic country. It's way ahead of Pakistan in terms of economy, in terms of its armed forces strength. It is powerful. Responsible is yet another question. And it has got a lot of diplomatic say in the international arena amongst the Committee of Nations. It's striving to become a permanent member of the Security Council. In comparison to that, Pakistan, you can say, is sometimes, in terms of population, they are 1.5 billion people. In terms of economy, they have a forex reserve of over $400 billion. In terms of armed forces, they are 7 times larger than Pakistan. If Pakistan had responded even 1/10 we would have been at least equal to them. But we paid back to them in the same coin. We retaliated with the same force, which probably they were not expecting. It was the credit goes to the decision makers. It was an ideal fusion of the military and the civilian leadership in Pakistan, which timely decided what to do, when to do, and what all is to be done. That was the decision which carried the day, basically. So I would say that we actually incurred a lot of monetary losses onto them. And in terms of moral ground, not a single country of the world ever condemned Pakistan's alleged involvement in the Pelgam incident. Not even one country said that Pakistan was involved in that, despite a lot of misinformation through the media. So I would say, quite fairly, and the international analysts, defense analysts, and the journalists, also the media, everyone has already determined that Pakistan did a good job this time. There were a number of anchors and TV personalities who probably did not act responsibly in this whole scenario. I would say that there are certain sane voices also, like, and they are pro-Indians, of course. They are Karan Thapar, for instance, Parveen Sawhney, and there's an international defense analyst, Christine Fair, also. So I would say that people should have listened to these sane voices coming from India, so they would have a better idea of where India went wrong.
Okay,
I
so
hope that answers your question.
yes, sir. So the misconception, the misinformation was generated from the media, the Indian media. This is what you're saying, sir.
Yes, absolutely. That is what I am saying. They created so much of hype, so much of war hysteria, that at times it seemed so funny, because they said that Karachi port has been destroyed. Even one of the anchors, who wasn't very very well informed, he said Lahore port has been destroyed, where there is no sea in Lahore, or ocean for that matter. They said Peshawar has been captured. Peshawar is in the north of Pakistan. How can they capture it? And they said Rawalpindi has been destroyed after they attacked one of the air bases in Rawalpindi. Interestingly, one media person went to an extent that he started suggesting that all those kids in Pakistan who are trying to remember the map of Pakistan tonight, please wait for 3 days, because the map is going to change and India is going to totally destroy Pakistan and eliminate it from the map of the earth. I mean, this kind of ill-informed, irresponsible stuff coming from the media was not really desirable. It really created a lot of, in fact, it created a lot of hype amongst the Indian masses. As far as the Pakistani masses are concerned, uh, Pakistanis are a different breed altogether. Once there was the news of swarms of these drones coming into Pakistan, people started asking, "Where have you seen the last drone? We would like to go and watch it live," not not fully knowing that it could be dangerous also. So that way, I mean, not no chaos, no fear, no. There wasn't any kind of hyperactivity as far as Pakistani masses are concerned. It was completely normal, business as usual. People were eating food in different places in Karachi. Once it was mentioned that Karachi port has been destroyed, so nothing of that sort actually happened.
Okay, thank you, sir. For your next question.
Days, and do you think the ceasefire would be adhered by both parties?
Okay, uh, this particular question again reminds me of yet another proverb, again an African proverb, that an eyelid and eyeball must never, should never quarrel with each other. Pakistan and India are declared nuclear states. Kashmir, being bone of contention, is the biggest nuclear flashpoint in the world that exists today. Pakistan never asked for a ceasefire, but once it was offered, we immediately accepted it for the reason that Pakistan is a peace loving country. We have been on the forefront of global war on terrorism for more than 2 decades. We have lost a lot. We have lost a lot in terms of men as well as material. Billions of dollars have been lost. We cannot afford to go into yet another conflict or another war. Pakistan is totally focusing towards its economy. And whatever happened this time, it was a wonderful fusion of our decision makers, both civilian and military, that took the decision to pay back to India in the same coin. So the ceasefire order, I'm sure it will continue to remain like that, continue to remain peaceful, but for lasting peace, yes, the root cause of all this has to be resolved. World has to look at this for the survival of the world itself, because this still remains, Kashmir still remains the biggest nuclear flashpoint in the world. Let's see what future has to offer to us, and let's see how it's all going to turn around in long term. However, at this juncture, I would say that Mr. Trump, the American president, has come out to be very strong in terms of his wisdom and in terms of his actions. He, along with his aides, like his vice president, Mr. J.D. Vance, his Secretary of the State, Mr. Rubio, they did a wonderful job. They took the decision at the very correct moment, timely decision, to stop these nations, both the countries, in escalating uh, the ladder of conflict. At the same time, there is I have no words to actually appreciate the efforts of our age-old, time-tested friend, China. As they always say, that friendship between Pakistan and China is deeper than the deepest ocean and taller than the tallest mountain in the world. We have an age-old friendship, and that friendship can never be hampered by anything. China will always be on Pakistan's side. We will always be together. We'll always be together in the same corner. In the same corner, we have our, again, time-tested friends, Turkey, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, other Middle Eastern countries. They have all sided with Pakistan. And the best part is, not even a single country in the world, either in Europe, South America, Australia, anywhere on the continent, in Asia, for instance, not a single country condemned and ever hinted on Pakistan's involvement in the Pelgam incidents. This is the best part. This is a very big diplomatic victory for Pakistan.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. Uh,
High Commissioner, how do you assess Indian establishment as a new law and alleged nuclear blackmail from Pakistan?
Uh, not completely believing the conspiracy theories which emerged after the Pahalgam incident, though some of those carry a lot of weight also. Uh, I would say, in the words of Mr. Mueed Yusuf, he was one of the former national security advisor. He said that probably the Indian leadership was caught in a commitment trap. After Pahalgam, there was a lot of media frenzy, war hysteria got created, and the media was shouting that we must punish Pakistan for that, and probably the Indian leadership got into that kind of a commitment, and they said that we are going to take this action against Pakistan. After whatever happened, they suffered a lot of losses in terms of shooting down of those 6 aircrafts and damage to their infrastructure, and eventual ceasefire brought about the kind courtesy of United States of America and the leadership of Mr. Trump. Uh, a speech was delivered by the Indian leadership. Now, uh, a leader of that stature, uh, like Mr. Modi, leader of 1.5 billion people, the largest democracy in the world. Uh, there were things which were said and which were not expected of his stature, his level. Like, for instance, I will just quote you one small example. Like, they named this operation, which was attacking Pakistan, as Operation Sindoor. And they said that we have taught a lesson to those people who have taken away the sindoor, which is basically a powdery stuff placed on the heads of the married women. It is very specific to only Hindu religion. My first question was that India claims to be a secular country. Why would they only specify that sindoor was taken away from the heads of our sisters and mothers and wives? What about 280 million Muslims who are the citizens, who are Indians? What about the Sikhs? What about the Christians and other communities, Buddhists and other religions? So it was, I would say, quite the name of the operation was very discriminatory in nature. So this wasn't expected. And then it was only meant to actually quiet down their population. The people were taken to, so much of war hysteria was created by the media that people were prepared to go for war. That's something very, very funny and very interesting. That why would people demand war? A war takes a country 10, 15, 20 years back. It should not be a choice of a sane nation and a country. Responsible nations resolve their problems on the negotiating table with dialogue, with discussion, with diplomacy. And that has always been the desire of Pakistan, to resolve all issues on the table. But that should not be taken as a weakness. We have the resolve, our people are resilient, our armed forces are very well trained, and our leadership, both military and civilian leadership, they are ideally placed and they have that state of mind to take the decisions at the right moment, at the right time. in absolutely correct space. Further adding to that, there were three aspects which were mentioned in the speech by the leadership. That number one, terrorism will be responded, and we will not be affected by the nuclear blackmail by Pakistan. And third was that terrorists and the state which is supporting the terrorists will be treated equally and they'll be responded to. Now, first of all, Pakistan was never involved in any acts of terrorism. Neither we carried out any terrorist activity, neither we harbored or supported any kind of terrorists. So that thing is out. And coming this from a responsible state and a nuclear state, and a statement like this against another nuclear state, and that to a neighboring state, is not really desirable. It's not something very responsible. All right. The second thing is that we will not be dictated by the nuclear blackmail. There was no nuclear blackmail. It was a conventional scenario. They did a conventional attack. It was responded to in the same coin. So nuclear brinkmanship never came into play in this particular scenario, and in future also. I'm sure the nuclear is kept as a deterrence, and they know it, we know it, and both the countries, they possess nuclear weapons, so they might as well stay. So this particular operation, this particular episode has also one thing has emerged out of it is that a limited war is definitely possible. May it be in terms of space, may it be in terms of time, or may it be in terms of one particular force. Like in this case, it was mostly the air forces which operated, and certain artillery elements, and that's about it. However, the space was not restricted. It was done across the line of control as well as the mainland. However, in terms of time, it was a short time, 4 days, and the things were over. So that has also emerged as one of the conclusions once we'll study it at a later stage. Once a country threatens to starve, once one nation threatens to starve another nation of 250 million people by using water as a weapon, then this thing has to be taken very seriously. And the world powers, the world community has to look into this aspect with a lot of seriousness. I hope you get what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, sir. Was really deep and very insightful. For your last question, just to round up, what do you have to say? What are your final words to the international community?
All right, Maureen, to conclude, I must say that the this whole episode ended in peace. Ceasefire has been implemented. The credit of this whole thing of bringing belligerents to the negotiating table and to implement a ceasefire. I think the credit goes to the political and the military leadership of Pakistan, who took the timely decisions, responded to the aggression uh, in the same coin. And secondly, the credit also goes to the people of Pakistan. They were absolutely in support of their political and military leadership. People from different political parties, they stood at one place and they supported the decisions of their military and their political leadership, which was something which brought the complete nation together. And this is something very positive. Second, Pakistan not only gained militarily, that India has to now think twice before they carried out any kind of aggression in the future. Pakistan has proved to the world that it's a country which believes in peaceful coexistence. But if the time comes, it has that resolve, it has that courage, it has that capacity, and it has those resources with the help of our friends that we can respond to anyone's aggression in the same coin. That is one thing. Secondly, the world community, I must, my very special praise to United States of America and Mr. Trump as a leader who has proved himself to be a go-getter. I am, in my personal opinion, I am expecting a lot to come from his side for the betterment of the world, for a greater peace in the world. I am very sure that his actions will determine that. He has offered to resolve the issue of Kashmir as well. My very special gratitude to our friends, the Chinese, Turkish, and all the Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar. Lastly, I would also urge the international community, the international organizations like United Nations, the European Union, South America, North American, rest of the continents, that please pay special attention to this particular region. Kashmir remains an outstanding issue. It's not the absolute desire of Pakistan to actually resolve this issue. It's a humanitarian crisis situation because there are 800,000 Indian troops which are stationed there who are keeping this. This is in some areas it is called the largest jail in the world. So the basic rights of the Kashmiris have to be protected. International community has to look into this thing. Pakistan has fought 4 wars on this particular bone of contention, on this particular issue. These two countries, India and Pakistan, they are nuclear states. The stakes have gotten higher. They have increased after 28th of May 1998 once both countries became nuclear. Now Kashmir has become the biggest nuclear flashpoint in the world. International community has to look at it not only for the sake of this region, but for the sake of the world as a whole. United States has offered to mediate to resolve this crisis. It's a very, very welcoming thing. And I really appreciate Mr. Trump for that. Last of all, I am representing Pakistan here in Nigeria. And every fourth African is a Nigerian. Nigeria has a population of 230.4 million people. It's a great country. The 8th largest producer of oil and gas, one of the largest economies in African continent. It's an amazing country with an amazing leadership, a leader with a lot of foresight, people with so much of resilience. It's just been 1.5 years, and this is what I have realized, that I'm living in one of the finest and greatest countries of the world. Nigeria is a country to be reckoned with at the world stage. And I would urge Nigeria, the people and the leadership, to play their role which they are destined to play in the world politics. They must play their role, and must put in their effort to resolve the issue of Kashmir. This is the last which I wanted to say. And I thank you for bearing with me. And I hope my answers have satisfied your questions and your queries. Thank you very much.